Hello and welcome to Newsreel Asia's Explainer series, We the People, where we explain political, economic, social and psychological concepts that help newsreaders like you understand the core of stories you come across every day and become better and more engaged citizens. I'm Surabhi, and in this episode, I'll explain how a democracy, which is built on the people's authority, begins to feel like control imposed on the people themselves. In theory, power is meant to belong to citizens in a democracy. Of course, elected leaders and public officials hold authority, but we give them that authority only to carry out public work. Yet, in everyday life, the relationship often feels reversed. Those meant to serve begin to act as if they command, and citizens begin to behave as if they must fall in line. John Locke, an English philosopher, argued that government holds power as a trust granted by the people, and we know that trust has limits. Their authority exists for public welfare and remains answerable to citizens. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, writing on republican self-government, described political authority as bound to the common good. He called it the general will. James Madison, one of the designers of American constitutional system, treated power with suspicion. He believed power naturally expands, which is why democratic systems divide authority and create checks so that no office grows beyond control. Taken together, these ideas define democracy as continuous accountability as opposed to mere voting which takes place once every few years. Max Weber, the German sociologist who studied how modern states actually function, described the modern state as a system of bureaucracy built on rules, offices, and procedures designed to make authority predictable and fair. In principle, such a structure should protect citizens from arbitrary power. Yet, the same bureaucracy can also create distance between officials and citizens, especially when authority begins to sit behind files, desks, uniforms, and long corridors of procedure. Over time, that distance changes the emotional experience of citizenship. A citizen who is legally entitled to a service may start to feel like someone asking for a favor. And that quiet psychological shift is where democratic equality begins to weaken. As this distance grows, citizens slowly begin to withdraw from public life. Many people come to feel that questioning authority brings trouble rather than change, and that silence feels safer than participation. So when fewer citizens speak, organize, or demand answers, the shared public presence that keeps democracy alive begins to fade. And this can be dangerous, according to the political thinker Hannah Arendt, who wrote deeply about how power actually works in society. She argued that real political power exists only when ordinary people remain visibly present in public life, speaking, participating, and acting together. But when the public presence weakens, authority begins to depend less on trust and more on control. Another philosopher, Michel Foucault, who studied how modern institutions shape behavior, added an important insight. He showed that control in today's societies does not always appear through visible violence such as police beatings, arrests, or military force. It often works in quieter ways, through constant supervision, strict rules, paperwork, cameras, and everyday discipline of schools, offices, and prisons. People slowly begin to adjust their behavior to fit these systems, even without being directly threatened. Over time, authority starts to feel normal and unquestioned, even when citizens no longer have real power over it. This is how democratic change often happens in real life. Distance grows first, public participation weakens next. Authority then hardens, and citizens who were meant to hold power slowly begin to feel smaller before the state. Now let's look at how this plays out in real life. Many citizens begin to treat democracy as something that happens only on election day. They cast their vote, the election ends, and attention turns back to private life. Citizens speak less about public decisions, question leaders less often, and demand fewer answers from those in power. Elected leaders then begin to treat victory at the ballot box as personal authority rather than temporary responsibility. Public institutions start serving those who hold office more than citizens who created them. Criticism begins to sound like disloyalty. A system designed for representation gradually begins to feel like control over the people. Consider a simple everyday analogy. A housing society hires guards to protect residents. Over time, if residents stop asserting control, guards may begin deciding who enters, who waits, and how residents themselves must behave. The change becomes visible in the experience of citizens dealing with the state. A person who approaches a government office for a ration card or a license or even police response can face delay, indifference, or humiliation. A right that exists in law begins to feel uncertain in practice. Political science describes this pattern as patronage, which is a system in which getting basic public services depends on personal connections to power rather than equal citizenship. Limited public resources make services scarce, and this scarcity increases the power of the official who controls access. Decisions about who receives help first or at all begin to depend less on clear rules and more on personal discretion. In practice, this means that the same public office that should serve everyone equally can begin to benefit some people while leaving others waiting. Social hierarchy deepens the same pattern. Caste, class, religion, and gender influence how institutions respond to different citizens. Legal equality continues to exist on paper, but everyday treatment remains unequal. The promise written in the Constitution and the reality people experience in public offices begin to move apart. The larger point is that democratic decline unfolds quietly as citizens withdraw from public participation and institutions gather power without steady questioning. This change does not happen through one sudden act. It happens gradually as those in power face fewer questions, institutions stop being closely watched by citizens, and unequal practices begin to settle into everyday routine. By the time people clearly see what has happened, domination has already taken root inside the systems that were meant to provide service. In the end, the question returns to citizens. Democracy can serve only if people continue to see public office as work done on their behalf, and never as something owned by those who hold power. Authority must remain open to public view, open to questions, and bound by clear limits under law. Respect for institutions matters, but that respect cannot demand silence. The moment citizens stop questioning, those in power stop serving and begin ruling. That is where the final truth lies. Servants become masters only after citizens forget that power begins with them. Democracy remains alive only as long as memory continues to live in public life. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to Newsreel Asia's YouTube channel and do visit our website at www.newsreel.asia to find more video documentaries, text stories, and explainers like these.